Hey everyone, Jason here with another Nanocoaster video. Today we're going to be doing GhostRider at Knott's Berry Farm in Buena Park, California. GhostRider is a wooden coaster originally built by Custom Coasters International. However, over time, it developed a reputation for being quite rough. Eventually, GCI was brought in to retrack this coaster, and ever since then, it's been regarded as possibly the greatest wooden coaster in the Western United States and one of the top wooden coasters in the entire United States. It's a fantastic ride. This kit is available from the park for $34.99 or available on the Knott's Berry Farm website as well, and I'll have the link for that below. So let's get started. Now inside the box, we have the base plate here. We also have the double-sided instruction sheet, as well as the one piece of metal with the track pieces on it. You'll notice on this base plate that they have the entire track layout engraved in it as normal. However, part of this coaster actually goes over the road out front of Knott's Berry Farm, and they've also engraved that right here into the base plate as well. So to get started, we'll begin by first peeling off this blue covering on the black plate. This is a black acrylic plate, and they put a protective coating on here, a protective film on here that needs to be peeled off before you begin construction. Oftentimes the coating is a brown paper. However, this one happens to have a blue plastic film. So to grab this, you'll just want to put your finger underneath the corner and kind of peel away. On the top, there will be multiple blue pieces that have to be peeled away. However, on the bottom, it'll just be one piece since the track layout's not engraved. So we'll do this really quick and then move on. And there we have the completed base plate with the track engraved into the top, the bottom cleaned off as well. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you know that I like to add an additional logo to the base plate. The kit does come with this logo sign right here that'll go on here. I like to have something a little bit larger, so I've cut out the GhostRider logo right here on my Cricut machine in vinyl, and I'm going to apply that to the base plate. This is kind of a tricky part sometimes to find a place to put it, and especially on this coaster, there's not a lot of empty space on the base plate. And so I'm going to try to do this over the road. Hopefully this works. If not, then I may have to just move on without it. However, so far I've been able to get this to work on all of them. If the logo is something you'd like to add, or if you want to use this logo for anything else, I have included a link to download the logo below, so you can get a copy of this logo and use it for whatever you'd like. I'm going to simply position this here on the base plate and kind of smooth it in. And there we have the GhostRider logo on the base plate. Now it's time to move on to track. For the track, we just have one sheet here with several pieces in it. I'll need to cut each of these out to that. I have this simple pair of wire cutters here that I purchased from Amazon. There's a link below if you want these same ones, but really any wire cutters or nail clippers should work. None of my links are affiliate links, so I don't get a kickback or anything from it. So if you want to use the same ones, you can. If not, it's no big deal as well either. But I'm just going to simply go around the track here and cut each of these little clips. You'll notice around the track there's just a bunch of little clips here that just have to simply be snipped, and once you do that, the piece will fall right out. So I'll get all these pieces cut out and then we'll move on to assembly. So to get started here, we have 9 track pieces laid out, which is more than some of the other recent models we've had. With this model, you'll also notice there's a lot of overlapping. And so one of the nice things with these kits is it's typically pretty difficult to put a piece in the wrong place, just because the different tabs underneath are different sizes. So you got the big one here, medium, and then a really small, bigger, and then a small one. So you typically can't put these in the wrong place. However, this is something you want to be careful with. Also, with some of the wider turns, I'll just kind of use the base plate to help me mold it into place. However, with some of the tighter turns, I have a couple of batteries here that'll help us get a more perfect curve. So I got a C cell for some of the tighter turns, and then a D cell for some of the wider turns as well. So the first piece we're going to install is the lift hill into the first drop with the tunnel and into the first airtime hill over the road here. So this piece, it only fits one place, so there's only one place here on this narrow side of the base plate that has a slot wide enough for this. So we're going to drop that into place here, and then the second tab will drop into place as well. Now the third really narrow one is going to follow the track layout into this turn. So we'll just kind of mold it around, bend it around there, continue bending this around, and then it's going to finish straight here on the second side. So we'll get this all pushed down into place. And then once you have it pushed into place, we'll flip it over and we'll bend over these tabs underneath. We'll bend over each of the tabs. With the model like this, you want to make sure that you don't bend the tabs over in a direction that they directly overlap another slot. For instance, here on this turn, there's going to be 3 right there, so you want to bend away from the other 2 turns so that we don't overlap it. And then here we'll bend inwards a little bit. And that's just so that, like I said, with the other pieces, we're going to have to bend over these tabs as well, so we don't want to have them overlapping. And so there's our first piece installed. So the second piece is this piece here with the 2 hills, long tabs on each end and the one in the middle. This tab is also going to go on this corner here. It's going to bend around there, but it's going to be on the innermost track here. So it's going to skip a track, and we're going to just kind of put it into place here on this innermost one. At first I tried to put it in the second one, noticed the slots didn't fit, looked again, and it only fits there in the third track. So you'll notice there's a little bit of a gap, but there's that track piece now in place. We can once again bend over the tabs on the bottom to hold it there. And now we have 2 track pieces in place. Now the third piece is going to be this piece here. You'll notice there's 3 slots in the track where it hops over the track. And there, if you'll notice here, there's a little helix area. It's about the size of probably closer to the D-cell battery. So we'll kind of use that to shape it. But this is going to go around the helix there into the final brake run before heading back to the station. And so to start with this, we'll actually grab the D-cell battery, and the end that has the 2, I guess the 3 parts that hop over the track, we'll just kind of use this to mold it around it. And that'll give us a little bit of curvature. This isn't going to give us quite the curvature we need, but we're going to kind of bend it most of the way around. You'll notice that's kind of giving us a rounded piece there. And hopefully that will allow us to easier put this into place. And so we're going to just barely put this hopping over that first track, continue bending it around, and hop over the other 2 track pieces that we already have in place. And then, like I said, continue around into this brake run where we have this long tab that's going to hold it into place. Got that in place, and we'll bend over these tabs. And after you got it in place, if you notice that you don't like the curve exactly right, you'll notice I have a little bit of a kink right there. You can kind of just come in here and use your fingers to mold it. But definitely the battery helped us get a little bit better shaping there on that piece. And so there is track piece number 3 installed. Now piece 4 is going to use this piece here. Here you'll notice we have the tunnel that goes over the road, so that's going to be over on the flat part. And then here we have 2 slots for it to hop over the track, and that's actually where it's going to enter the helix that we just put into place. So once again, we'll begin by using a battery at that end, and we won't curve the entire piece this time, but we'll start at that end, and we'll just kind of curve it around a little bit so that we have kind of a little bit of a hook shape, almost a J shape there. And then we'll use that to position this, once again, continuing off of this helix here. There's a slot right next to that will put that piece into place. It then hops over these 2 tracks, and then it goes into this straight area and concludes with the portion that hops over the road with the. That piece is now in place. We'll bend over these tabs. And there's track piece number 4 there around the back side of the Nanocoaster. Now step 5 is going to use this piece here. It's the taller piece. One of the last remaining 2 that has the tunnel piece here, and so that's going to be the last piece we put in, and this is going to go into this turnaround here. However, it's not going to continue from the piece we just put in. It's going to continue from the first piece we put in, so the middle track here. Once again, this is going to be curved. The curvature on this one starts right after this long tab, so once again we'll use this AAA battery, and we'll just kind of start it here. And we'll wrap it around, and then it looks like the curvature, it goes quite a ways. It goes more than just part way. So there we have kind of our little turnaround there. And so now we can position this piece and continue, like I said, from the first piece we installed, not from the last one, but from the first one. Continue the turnaround, drop that little slot into place. For the bending the other direction, we'll kind of just follow the layout of the track. Like I said, it is all engraved in the Nanocoaster, and you'll see where the tabs need to fit into place as well. So we can just kind of bend it to fit that curvature there. Just kind of push this down into place. Once again, bend over these tabs. And then once again, after you have it in place, you may need to do a little bit of manual bending just to get it to follow the track layout. However, don't really have to do a whole lot there. So there you can see the tunnel is now 3 pieces deep. We now have that inner turnaround done on the end of the coaster. Step 6 moves us to the back of the instruction sheet. And it's going to be the last piece here that has the tunnel. This is also the last turnaround piece at this end. The turnaround on this one is going to wrap around mostly where this very narrow pin is. So we're going to use this battery to curve around where that pin is. And now we kind of have that piece bent into shape a little bit, help us get a little bit more even of a curve there. And then we'll drop it into place here. This is going to hook on the outer edge of the track. So we'll drop that first pin into place, and then the second. Continue around. Now it's got to bend inward just like the last piece did. Then we'll bend over the tabs underneath. And there we have step 6 complete, which kind of ends that end of the Nanocoaster. Now step 7 is going to be this little piece here. You'll notice this is going to hop over the track 2 places. This is actually going to go over the helix. You'll notice this little pin here fits in the middle. And so this piece fits in a very tight place. So this one we'll want to begin by just curving it a little bit here. Probably don't need the battery once again for this one because it's more of a gradual turn. This is one that I'd usually just follow the layout on the base plate for. But because it's dropping in between 2 other pieces, we really don't have that option. So this piece is now going to drop into place right here in between the other 2 pieces that are already going over the helix. We'll put that middle pin into place, kind of bend it around this way. You may have to do a little bit of, hopefully your fingers are small. You may need to use some needle nose pliers if they're not, just to get the pieces to fall down into place just perfectly, but looks like I'm going to be able to do it here. And then we'll bend over the 3 tabs on this one. And there's that piece now installed there in the corner. Now step 8 is going to be this little flat piece here. Once again, this is the final brake run, right before it turns around to go into the station. And so this piece is going to go right here on this outer edge. So there's a long tab there that'll drop into place, and another one. Down here at the end, it's going to have a fairly sharp turn. This is actually coming out of the station now. Our little station building is going to go over a little straight part. It's going to come down into a turnaround to go into the lift hill. Then we'll wrap this around. This one you could use like a AA battery for. I'm just going to kind of do it by hand, mold it around the track, and then bend over the pieces underneath. And then I'll just do a little bit of shaping here with my fingers to get the curve to match the layout on the base plate. It wasn't perfect, but we can kind of get it a little bit more perfect that way. And so there's that piece installed. Now step 9 is not a track piece. You'll notice there's one track piece left. However, this track piece has a section that goes over the station building. This is the first Nanocoaster I've seen that didn't have you do the station last, but it makes sense because it has to go over the station building. So the station is this piece right here, same as every other Nanocoaster. It looks like just a little house. We'll kind of bend it into place there, or bend it into shape. Here's the station building. It's the same as every other Nanocoaster. It just looks kind of like a little house building. This is going to go over the station. There's 2 slots over the station portion of the track. This fits over. This one's being a little bit stubborn to bend, but we'll just kind of drop this down into those 2 slots there, and then bend over the tabs underneath to hold that into place. And there we have our little station building. This step also has us installing the little sign. This goes right by the little decal I put on here, so we'll put that into place, bend over the tab underneath, and just bend the sign back a little bit. Now step 10 is the final track piece, and as I mentioned, this is going to go over the station building. It's also going to hop over the lift hill as well. And so to put this one into place, we'll begin with this tab down here at the bottom at the lowest point, right before you have these two little narrow hill hoppers. So we'll kind of put that one into place, but you'll also want to make sure you start bending the piece so that it can go over the lift hill and the brake run, and then fit into the slot right over that. And then we'll have a very sharp turnaround right at the station. So we'll want to just kind of bend this piece around there. One thing you'll notice when you're bending this is you want to be very careful because it's very flimsy at the narrowest part. So where we have the cutout for the station building, it's going to bend a lot easier than the full lattice portion. But we'll just continue bending that around and drop this last piece into place and then bend over the tabs. Once we have that in place, I'm just going to do a little bit of molding here once again with my fingers, just kind of round this out the way that it should be based on the markings on the base plate. Once again, this turnaround goes over the station, so it's a little bit tricky there. So there's the completed model as it comes from Knott's Berry Farm. Really cool little model, one of the most detailed wooden coaster ones. This is actually one I wasn't going to get. However, after looking at the model, I thought it looked really cool. It'd be cool if it was even a little bit bigger. They designed these base plates to fit in a box in one piece. However, with some of the coasters like Millennium Force, they've given you two-piece ones, and that would have been kind of cool with this one. But it works this way as well. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you know one of the last things I like to do is to add a felt bottom to this. And the reason for that is you'll notice we have all these little metal tabs here on the bottom. If you put this down, it's going to kind of make a scratchy sound, possibly even scratch up your surface. And so here I have this adhesive felt I've acquired from Amazon. There's a link down below to get it. It has an adhesive built into it. And you can typically get multiple coasters out of one sheet. So you can see I've already cut something out of this one, possibly lightning rod, possibly something else. I think it was lightning rod. But with this felt, I can basically just take the felt here and I'll position the Nanocoaster model here against one or two edges. It looks like I can really only get it against one edge here. But I'll choose one of the longer edges to get it against. And then I'll trace the model here, just with a pencil, just trace around it. And then we can grab these scissors and just cut it out. When we're cutting it out, we'll cut around just inside of what I traced. That way the felt's just slightly smaller than the model. It does stretch a little bit while you're installing it. If it hangs over a little bit, it's not a big deal. You can always trim it away after you get it on. But it's easier if you just have it cut just a little bit smaller to begin with. So there we have our felt cut out. We want to make sure that it matches up here, see that it looks good. And then we'll just simply peel away the white paper backing on a portion of this, and then tear it off just so that it's sticky just in one portion. And then we'll line this up again and press down. But there we have the completed Knott's Berry Farm Nanocoaster along with the felt bottom. Once again, this is available from the park for $34.99. It's also available on Knott's Berry Farm's website. They're one of the few Cedar Fair parks that does have their kits available online. But a really cool model, really not that difficult to assemble. The wooden coasters do tend to be easier. But I hope you enjoyed this video. This will probably be my last Nanocoaster video for about a month and a half. Should be hitting up some parks soon, and hopefully getting a couple more. But this is, once again, the GhostRider Nanocoaster. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more Nanocoaster videos, more videos like this, make sure you hit subscribe, and thanks for watching.